Okay, now that your glue has dried, it is time to actually cut the blade out of your foam. What we want to do is we want to draw a blade about 2 inches wide like so, all the way down, and have a little curve in the end. How do we draw straight lines? Well, the same thing we've always done. Okay, we measure 2 inches from the edge, and we put a dot, and we go down a couple inches, and we draw a straight line. Now I've done that, and this is what my blade looks like. As you can see, it is 2 inches, like right here, from this point all the way down to here, and then it has a little curve. Now what we want to do is we want to take a razor blade, and we're going to cut out your actual sword. Now this part is very important that you have a very steady and very careful hand. We have to cut through 3 layers of this blue foam. Remember, if your cut is not straight, it will not look as good, and it might cost you your sword. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so again, just be patient and cut through the layers of the foam, and see how it looks. So there's a lot of little debris, that's fine. You could even take a sandpaper and just smooth out the edges, but well, it looks pretty good. So this is the blade that you're going to work with, and now we'll work on padding it. Alright, now let's work on padding your sword with a layer of this blue foam. It's very easy. Now this part, all we do is we take a strip of blue foam like this, we lay it on the ground, and we just kind of line it up from the edge of the blade to the end here, and we just kind of want to draw a line where the sword edge is, like so. We draw a line down, and we got to keep in mind the end will be a little bit curved, like so. Okay, now that we have this shape here, we just take a razor and we cut that out, and we'll glue this edge to your blade for some padding. Okay, so I've applied the glue on both sides. I applied the glue on the blade and on the padding here. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to glue it right on top, starting with the tip, and just work our way down. Remember, try to be as exact as you can. Now, if you mismeasured and end up having a little bit sticking out at the end, no problems. So now we go on to the next step. Alright, now that we have 1 layer of blue foam on the sword for padding, we're going to get the open cell foam and do the same thing. So what we're going to do is, again, like before, we're going to just put the sword against the foam, and we're going to draw a line all the way down. Keep in mind the rounded tip at the top. Now you'll notice that the easiest tool for cutting open cell foam is actually scissors. Okay, so I've actually already went ahead and cut out the pieces that I need, because the piece I got wasn't actually long enough for the sword. I needed 2, but that's fine. So again, all we gotta do is put dap on both sides, and we are going to simply glue the edges like so. And once it's dried, you have your sword, and you are going to simply just let it dry and work on it some more tomorrow. And your sword is halfway done. Well, the glue has now dried, and hopefully your sword will look something like this. So the hardest part is now finished. Let's start working on the crossguard and the pommel. First thing we want to do is cut out 2 pieces of these rectangular shaped squares like so. This is 3 inches by 5 inches. What we're going to do is we're going to glue them together like so. Okay, and that's what the crossguard is going to be. Alright, now that you glue the 2 rectangular pieces together, you want to take a scissor and kind of just round off the corners, so you have something that looks something like this. Notice that on the On the back, I have this little cross section here. Basically, that's just a way to for me to know where exactly the pole goes into. So where these crosses meet in the center, that's where I need to drill a hole. And the reason why I need to drill a hole is because that's where the rod is going to go through. And it's going to go through, and that's where the cross guard is how it's going to fit. So if you have a power tool, now would be a cool time to use it. If you don't, that's okay. You can always poke a hole some other way. I'll probably do it with a scissor. Once you punched a hole like so, all you gotta do is put some DAP on the surface and some DAP at the end of your sword, and you just slide your pole through the hole like so. And once it's glued, you're done with the cross guard. It's very simple. You might want to experiment a little bit with distances. Generally, you want the same distance from here to here to here to here. But if it's not perfect, it's not that important. It's just a cross guard, but it looks good if you got it good right. After the cross guard is done, we will now want to do the pommel. Alright, so for the pommel portion, what we want to do is we want to take a strip of foam that is about 10 inches long. What we're going to do is essentially, it's very simple. We are going to glue, and we're going to wrap the foam around itself so that the pommel will become about 2.5 inches. That way it won't go into someone's eyeball. So now we just gotta glue it like so, and use tape to reinforce it. Now, because the way the DAP works, we're gonna have to glue this portion one strip at a time. So at first we'll have to glue this part, and then we'll have to glue more and more and more as we move down. Okay, so first what I'm going to do is I'm only going to put glue on this part of the foam, because once you start rolling, you'll have to actually glue on top of itself, and that would actually be really hard for you to glue. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do this in 4 or 5 different steps. Okay, now that your pommel is completed, it should be about 2.5 inches wide so that it does not go into an eye socket if accidents happen. Now what we want to do is we want to cap it off with 2 layers of foam. So it's very easy. All we got to do is get a foam outside like this, and we simply put the pommel against the foam, draw out 2 circles like so, and cut them out. So now you have 2 pieces of circles like that. All you gotta do is glue them on top of each other. It doesn't have to be perfect, this part. And you glue it on the back of your pommel. This way, you have an extra 2 layers of foam to act as padding in case your rod does become loose.